This is an uncatalogued film from the Imperial War Museum archive. There are no details with the film other than the production date of the 14th of June 1944, so just a week after D-Day. But those familiar with the Red Funnel passenger terminal at Southampton will recognise on the shoreline the pillars outside what was the Royal Southern Yacht Club, opened in 1846, on the left, and the medieval wool house, now an independent brewery, on the right, once used as a storehouse by the monks of Beaulieu Abbey and as a jail for French prisoners during the Napoleonic Wars. As the landing ship tank, affectionately nicknamed Large Slow Target, slips its moorings, the dolphins in the water parallel to the Royal Pier are visible on the left in the film and still in situ today. Just about discernible facing the LST is the now disused railway line running across the film, linking the eastern docks on the right with the new or western docks completed in 1934 on the left. In the background we can see the spire of St. Michael's Church. St. Michael is the patron saint of Normandy, and this was the second stone structure constructed in Southampton by the Normans after the invasion of 1066. As the bow of the LST turns seawards, it faces the town quay, which is fully blacked out. Today there are no cranes, and as well as the Red Funnel passenger terminal, the town quay is now the home for offices and leisure facilities, with a marina attached. Southampton is primarily known as a commercial passenger port. Therefore, it comes as a shock to many to discover that it was the springboard for Operation Overlord and the liberation of Europe. In reality, it has served this function since the medieval period. Edward III's army left from Southampton during the 100 Years' War, and so did Henry V's army that fought at Agincourt. More recently, it was used as the British Army's trooping port from the time of the Boer War and was designated the principal port of embarkation during World War I, when for a time it is said that a railway train arrived at the docks every 12 minutes. Even more recently, the armada that sailed for the Falklands War, including SS Canberra, left from Southampton. Southampton was bombed heavily in 1939 and 40, and the docks were closed to non-essential traffic for 2 years. This was perhaps the darkest period in the history of Southampton. Nevertheless, the US Army ignored British High Command misgivings about the vulnerability of the port, and there is a plaque next to an administrative door near the art gallery, which reads that a wing of the Civic Centre was used as the headquarters by the US Army, directing the embarkation of the American armies who, together with their allies, sailed from Southampton docks to liberate Europe. During the operation, over 2.25 million troops, 250,000 vehicles and millions of tons of supplies of the US Army were shipped through this port. Although the port was officially under Portsmouth Command, the Royal Navy and other Allied forces were directed from South Western Hotel, situated at Gate 4 of the Eastern Docks, which became HMS Shrapnel. On the other side of the channel, the enemy was still to believe their own propaganda from 1940, and although this helped the Allies prepare for D-Day in plain sight, it meant that the role played by the port at this time, in what was to become its finest hour, was never properly recognised. According to Major General later Sir Nigel Holmes, speaking in 1945, "Without Southampton, we could not have done D-Day." Yet there is no significant memorial to the contribution within the city today. One of the aims of the Imperial War Museum film of the LST, crewed by the US Navy but carrying mainly British troops and equipment, was presumably to promote the bond between allies. There is a story that once, during the lunch hour, American GIs unloaded a ship at Southampton docks, only to be forced to reload the cargo when the civilian dockers returned. Fortunately, by D-Day the situation had settled, and during Operation Overlord the needs of the troops on the beaches always took priority, and there is harrowing film of both British and US casualties returning on LSTs to the same berth at Southampton. In all, 24 convoys sailed before or on D-Day for the main assault, with the immediate follow-up to arrive by D-Day +3, and a daily schedule of 8 convoys per day was planned, with 38 escort groups, each made up of destroyers, frigates, corvettes and trawlers to protect these movements. Yet the success of Operation Overlord depended on the continual shuttle of troops and landing craft sailing to and fro in unnumbered convoys. On 6th of June 1944, with the help of over 195,000 Allied naval and merchant navy personnel and more than 5,000 ships, 160,000 troops were landed on the beaches of Normandy in a single day.